Welcome to this week's practice. It's a little bit different. Today we're going to be moving through a yin inspired practice. So longer holds, lots of breathing, lots of just relaxing into it, and really just kind of taking ourselves away from the day and into our bodies. So when you're ready, for today's practice we need a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a cushion and just roll it up. Or if you have a big cushion, that's great. Just anything at all that you can kind of lay on and sit on and kind of use as a bolster is great. So grab that, grab your mat, get some comfy clothes on, and let's just meet in a seated position. So I'm sitting on my bolster, kind of straddling onto it. This is my favorite way to sit on it. If it's not good for you, just come into a comfortable seat to begin with. You don't even need to use your bolster if you don't want to. Just let the hands rest somewhere comfortable. You'll have to excuse my paint covered hands. As you know, I'm renovating my house. But yeah, come into a comfortable seat. Just let the hands rest, let the spine grow tall. And then whenever you're ready, just let the eyes close or just take the gaze low. And once the eyes are closed, just take a quick scan from the crown of the head, through the eyes, the jaw, the shoulders, the arms, all the way to the toes, and just let the body soften. Just take a moment to tune in with how you're feeling. Tune in with what emotions or energy you've arrived to the practice with. And then slowly, without changing anything, just begin to watch the breath. Just watch the breath as it flows in, and watch the breath as it flows out. Just becoming aware of how you're naturally breathing, where you breathe to and from, the length of the breath, the depth of the breath. So from here, we're going to just add an element of breath control. So on the bottom of your next exhale, really, really empty the lungs until there's no breath left in the body. And then from there, take a slow, long, deep breath in through the nose, all the way to the top of the lungs. And then slowly exhale, emptying the chest, the belly, all the way to the bottom until there's no breath left. Lovely. Again, inhaling through the nose, all the way to the top of the lungs. And exhaling, emptying the lungs, the chest, the belly, until there's no breath left in the body. And just continue for a few more rounds in your own rhythm with your own breath, just deepening and lengthening the breath. Beautiful. Just taking one more slow, deep breath in through the nose. And exhaling through the nose. Beautiful. And then from there, just let the breath go. Return to a breath that feels natural for you. And then just bring the hands together into prayer position in front of the chest. Take a full breath in through the nose. And a big sigh, let it go. Beautiful. Begin to rub your palms together, creating lots of heat, lots of energy through the palms. And then when the palms feel nice and warm, place the palms over the eyes, feeling the darkness, the warmth that you've created. And then slowly begin to draw the palms away from the eyes and gently flicker the eyes open. Welcome to your practice. Okay, so our first pose today, we're going to come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So go ahead and grab your bolster. And we're going to place the bolster on the mat horizontally. So bolster is going to be towards the top of the mat. Your sit bone, your tailbone is going to come towards the bottom of the bolster. Feet are going to come together, soles of the feet together, knees out, so you've got a nice diamond shape. And then you're simply going to just lay your back onto the bolster, so you're opening through the chest and then releasing your hands wherever feels most comfortable for you. If you need more support, of course, grab more support. Sometimes a block underneath the bum is quite nice, or blocks underneath the knees. But just take your time to get there. And then whenever you get there, just find comfort. Find stillness and just allow your eyes to close. And with the eyes closed, just again take that quick body scan and just release the body in towards the bolster, in towards the floor. Let everything be soft. And just come back to your breath. Begin to send the breath into the belly, into the space that you're creating in the chest. Each inhale is filling you up, opening, expanding. And each exhale is softening, releasing, letting go. We're on our last 30 seconds of this pose. And if the mind's wandering, that's okay. Just when you witness the wonder, just see if you can bring it back to this moment, back to the breath. Really, really nice. And then slowly, when you're ready, just take your hands around the outside edges of the knees and just draw your knees together, bringing the soles of the feet flat to the floor. From there, go ahead and just drop your knees over to one side so you can just release the bolster away from you. So just push the bolster or whatever you're using to one side and just lie flat onto your back. From there, you can keep the knees bent or you can extend the legs to the bottom of the mat, but just take a moment to rest. Just a moment to neutralize the spine, to take it all in. Lovely. And then our next pose we're going to come into is a spinal twist. So draw both knees into your chest now. Just take your hands around the shins and just give yourself a hug here for a moment. Maybe a little rock from side to side. Beautiful. And then from there, go ahead and take your arms to a T, or you can cactus your arms and drop the knees over to the left. Now, you don't need to use a bolster necessarily, but you might like to rest your thighs on top of the bolster. You can either take your gaze towards the sky or you can take your gaze over towards that right shoulder. But just let everything soften again. See if you can relax the whole body. And you want the sensation as if you were to fall asleep. You're not really going to fall very far because the body is so soft. Beautiful. And then again, once you're settled, just let go. Just enjoy the peace in the pose. And as we reach the halfway point of this pose, just notice if there's anywhere else you can release. Are there any parts of the body that you're maybe holding some tension or some gripping? And just use your exhales to let go, to release. Really nice. Slowly from here, begin to draw your knees back to center. Wrap your hands around the shins. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. And then we're going to go straight to the other side. So grab your bolster, cushion or blanket, whatever you're using if you need to. And then drop the knees over to the right or the other side. Again, in your variation, arms to a T or cactus. And then take the neck and gaze wherever feels comfortable. And once you've found your position, just take a full breath in. And then exhale, just let it go. Let yourself sink into the pose. And we're here for about another minute. Just notice where the mind's at. Notice if you can bring your awareness back to the breath, or just anything that brings you back into the moment. Maybe it's a word or a mantra you want to invite in. When you're ready, slowly come all the way up to center. Again, just give yourself another little hug, a rock from side to side. And then either extend the legs to the bottom of the mat or just bring the soles of the feet down with the knees bent. And just rest into this kind of shavasana shape for a moment. Just let everything neutralize. Lovely. And then when you're ready, just again hug the knees back to your chest And we're going to come to a seated position. So let yourself roll over to one side and just use your hands just to gently push yourself all the way up to a seated position. We're going to come into our third pose. So we're going to come into Baddha Konasana now. So soles of the feet together. Now there's a few ways we can use our bolster in this one. Option one is bolster comes to the kind of groin area with the top of the bolster on the feet, and you just let yourself kind of fold over like so. For a lot of us, that's going to be too deep, too intense, in which case we can place the bolster upright and we can just let the forehead rest onto the bolster. Or you can keep it flat but place a couple of blocks or maybe a few extra cushions so that your forehead can meet it. So I'll give you a moment to get ready, use all the props that you need to make sure you're super, super comfortable. We are going to be here for 3 minutes like the others, but really just allow it to be a place you can settle in. So make sure you're super comfortable. Lovely. And then when you're ready, come into the pose, find stillness, and just allow yourself again to rest. Allow gravity to do all of the work for you. Allow the knees to soften, the shoulders to soften, all the muscles in the face to soften. Allow everything to be heavy and soft and at ease. And when it is, come back to your breath, your word, your mantra. Come back to this moment. About a last 30 seconds here, just seeing if you can release any more. Lovely, and then slowly place your palms down or use them to just help you lift all the way up. Just take your prop to one side, take your hands around the outside of the knees, just draw the knees together and just extend the legs out long. Just give them a little wiggle if you need to. And then for this next pose, we're going to keep the legs out long. So it's going to be a shorter hold just to kind of neutralize the legs a little bit. So feet about hip distance apart or wider or closer, your choice. Again, bolster is either going to come towards the tummy across the legs, or you can place the bolster. You might need to take the legs a little bit wider down, and you can fold forwards like so. So we're going to just come into a forward fold. So your variation, again, use all the blocks that you want to, use all the props that you want to. And then once you're there, just take your hands either side of you and then just allow the spine to round as you forward fold. Just let the forehead rest onto the bolster. Let the shoulders relax and just let, again, everything hang heavy. Let gravity do the work for you. Lovely, and then slowly just peel your way all the way back up. Just remove your prop over to one side. Give the legs a wiggle if you need to. And then from here, option to cross the ankles, roll forwards. Otherwise, just scoot the legs around and just make your way into a tabletop position. So we have options here. You can either stay in your tabletop position for a few moments. Otherwise, you can tuck your toes under, lift into a moment of downward facing dog. Maybe here you bicycle the legs, just kind of wiggle your way into the hamstrings, into the calf muscles, the ankles. Just doing whatever you need to for a moment. Lovely, and then we're going to come into our pigeon pose. So we want to bring the right shin forwards, left leg is back extended, and you're sitting down onto that right bottom. So from here, untuck the back toe, take your bolster, cushion, blanket, whatever it is, and I like to place the bottom of the bolster towards the left hip, and then the bolster is over the right shin. Now, the closer the heel of the right foot is towards you, the lesser of a stretch it's going to be. So the more parallel you get this right shin towards the front of the mat, the deeper the stretch. So you decide. And then once you're there, just take your fingertips either side. Again, you might need more added height, in which case you can always place the bottom of the bolster down and you can hang like so. Otherwise, make it work for you, and then just let yourself fold all the way over. Take your cheek onto the floor, maybe the right cheek for this side, and then just let yourself soften. And then once you are soft, just let yourself melt onto your prop. Let yourself melt onto the floor beneath you. And as if you were to fall asleep, just completely let go. Maybe coming back to the breath. Maybe coming back to a mantra or a word. But just enjoying this space. this space you've carved out to be here right now. We're going to be here for about another minute. So just notice the thoughts, notice the mind, notice any urges to move or fidget, and just see if you can resist those urges, if it's simply the mind getting bored or frustrated. Lovely, and then slowly, when you're ready, begin to bring yourself all the way back up. Just gently move the bolster to one side. Place the hands down, tuck your left toes under, and then just bring it back into your tabletop position. Give the hips a little bit of a shake here. You can stay in your tabletop, or again, you can lift the hips, come into your downward dog. But regardless, just move around for a moment, just wiggle all of that out. Perfect, and then coming on to the other side, so looking forwards, this time bringing the left shin forwards, again taking it to where you need to take it, grabbing your prop and finding your position that you want to come into. So again, make sure it's comfortable, make sure there's no pain. Bring the hands down, and then again, when you're ready, just roll forwards. This time taking the left cheek onto the bolster or the block or whatever it's on. Finding complete comfort, finding complete stillness, and then just letting everything soften. Just completely letting go. And just notice if with each exhale you can just soften the fingertips, the shoulders, just soften the body fully. Exhaling to let go. you're ready, again, just begin to bring yourself out of the pose. Remove your prop, tuck your right toes under, take yourself back to your tabletop position. Stay there again or lift into another downward dog, last one here, just moving anything you need to move. Beautiful, and then dropping down onto the knees if you're not already. Taking yourself back into a comfortable seated position like we started. So again, you might use your bolster or prop. You might just sit down, kneeling or cross-legged. Just find that comfortable seat. Place the hands somewhere on the knees or on the thighs and just grow nice and tall through the spine, and then let the eyes close. Take a full breath in through the nose. And a big sigh, let it go. Lovely. Come back to your breath. Inhaling. And exhaling. Beautiful. From here, inhaling into the belly. Into the chest. Into the top of the lungs, and then long, slow exhale. Again, like that, inhale to the belly, the chest, to the top of the breath, and then long, slow exhale. Inhale into the belly, the chest, all the way to the top of the lungs. And then long, slow exhale. Inhale to the belly, the chest, to the top of the lungs, and then long, slow exhale. One more of these breaths, inhaling into the belly, the chest, to the top of the lungs, and then long, slow exhale. From the bottom of that exhale, take a full breath in. Open the mouth, let it go. Just let the breath return to a natural rhythm. And just take a moment to notice your energy. Notice how you're feeling. And I encourage you to move now into Shavasana, into your variation of Shavasana. Spend at least 3 minutes there just letting go. But I'm going to end the practice here, so if you're with me, just bring your hands together into prayer position. Bow the forehead to the fingertips and just thank and honor yourself. This time to soften, to surrender, to let go. And thank you as always for sharing your time, energy and practice with me. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you for another video next week.